There are more podcasts on YouTube than there are stars in the night sky. Everyone has been convinced that they're a unique, special little butterfly and that their insight is invaluable. And now that there's so much easy access to recording equipment, everyone gets this insidious little idea planted deep in their noodle that it's time to start a podcast. And my God, I tell you, it's a plague. It's a disease, a virus that's infecting the mind of the most insecure and insufferable people of all time. For some reason, once that AT 2020 touches their hand, they just scream their insecurity from the mountaintop with authority, proudly. And it blows my mind. But I've never seen insecurity projected quite like what I'm about to show you today. So I am still shocked that he hasn't scrubbed this podcast episode from the entire cyberspace, just wiped it from the internet. Like, if this was a clip of mine, I would have paid every penny I have to my name in order to ensure this never sees the light of day again, that this clip stays buried, like the fucking Millennium Puzzle from Yu-Gi-Oh! It is that embarrassing. Like, you couldn't lock me up in Guantanamo Bay and torture this clip out of me, and yet he still has it on his channel. So the podcast is like a bootleg Fresh and Fit, where they just get a bunch of women together and ask them stupid questions and then rate each other's beauty. And then he gets really offended, like visibly upset, and I really thought he was going to start bawling his eyes out, crying in the fetal position. And I've watched a couple of their episodes now because I was curious if this was like an isolated thing. But no, this is pretty common. This is like a staple in their show from what I can tell, where they just have this section where they ask the women that they bring on to rate their beauty, the rate the podcast host's beauty.
Listen, ladies, we're rating just off physical appearance, just off beauty, okay? Same standards. Trust me, we're not going to get hurt, okay?
That's the biggest lie ever told since the time Kellogg's tried to convince the world that sugar doesn't make you fat. So, the segment is Rate Our Appearance, basically, which is some actual middle school, literal baby brain man-child behavior shit. That is insecurity at its finest, to have the women you bring on as guests rate your appearance. That's so stupid. I'm surprised they don't also play Spin the Bottle and Truth or Dare. And maybe they do, I've only watched a couple of their episodes, but he says that they're not going to get offended with the ratings. Well, do I have news for you?
All right, cool.
Stop being delusional.
What the fuck?
All right, so now what I want you to do is, ladies, real quick, don't fucking waste my time. Rate the guys. Do me a favor, Josh. Stand up real quick, man. Everybody look at him once, man. He's not going to stand up again, all right? So I want you to rate me, my co-host, and then our fucking producer. Go, from 1 to 10, just off beauty. Go.
When he does these sections, it really seems like he's some kind of basketball coach who's really upset at the team. Like, he gets very aggressive with all of it. Like, don't waste my fucking time. Listen, we're going to do the drill right now. And we're going to do it right. So stand the fuck up, Josh. Look at him. Now spin around, Josh. Okay, good. Drop your pants, Josh. Good. Now rate everything you just saw. Now, don't waste my time. Like, I don't know why he gets, like, so upset even before they hear ratings. Like, he immediately goes into these sections combative. I watched the whole episode up until this point. Like, he's pretty blunt and like very much so most of the time. But when it gets to this one in particular, he's like angry. Like, even before anything happens, he's already angry.
Speak into the fucking mic.
I would rate you.
First, you're rating me, and then him, and then him. Go.
I'll rate you a 7.
All right. What is he?
I'll rate you an 8,
All right.
and I'll rate Josh an 8 also.
Okay. What about you? Go.
I would rate you a 8,
Okay.
9.
Okay. Come on, he just fucking stood up, bro. Like, come on.
I don't even know what he's getting upset with here. She only took like an extra 2 seconds to take another look at the guy. It's like he just lost a gold split in a speed run to this extra 2-second time loss. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I don't know why he's so on edge. It seems like he just really hates the guests that they bring on. Because when he's talking to his boys, he's like much more jovial and joking and smiley. But the second the conversation shifts to the rest of the class here, like the group of women over there, he turns into like a drill sergeant and starts getting extremely serious and loud. So I don't know why they even bring on women to this podcast when they don't even really want them there. And I also don't know why women keep agreeing to go on shows like these, because half the time it's them just like saying, you're not good looking and shit like that. Like, right after this rating section of rating the podcast hosts go through and rate all the women. And they literally give them 2s, 3s, and 4s. And make sure that they know that the hosts don't find them attractive. So I don't really get why women keep signing up for this shit just to get insulted by podcast hosts, and they don't say anything or do anything. Like, the women will insult each other sometimes. Like, they don't ever push back against the hosts at all, so then they just walk away looking silly from all of it. Like, all of it is just a net loss for the women that go on these shows. I don't know why they keep doing it.
I would say 9.
All right. What about you over there? Go.
2.
Okay.
I would give him a 9.
Okay. What is she over there?
I would give him a 10 because
Okay.
he invited me.
All right. So again, you sound like a stupid ass bitch. I'm trying to
Thank
figure
you.
out why you rated me a 2 because we're not going off our interactions. We're going off beauty.
I don't
Right.
like
I don't give a fuck. He's light skinned just like me. And you just gave him a 9. You gave me a 2. You only gave me a 2 because of the whole interaction that we've been having, right? So do me a favor, get the fuck up and get the fuck out.
Thank you.
Yeah, get out.
Spoken like a man whose feelings weren't hurt at all and wasn't offended by the 2 rating. So he tries to justify it with, you only rated me a 2 because we had a disagreement earlier, which I guess they did, but even still, this is an extreme overreaction to getting rated a 2. The insecurity is palpable. You can fucking taste the salt here.
So what the fuck?
Stupid ass bitch. Make sure she gets her bag and phone too. Make sure she doesn't take the wrong fucking phone, dummy. All right, cool. So now, again,
You can actually hear that lump in his throat start to form from all the emotion building up inside of him. Get out of here, stupid bitch. Hey, make sure she grabs the right phone and not someone else's phone because she's so dumb she probably won't know which one's her phone. Dumb idiot. She's real stupid. You're stupid. I'm a 2. No, you're a 2. Unsurprisingly, this turned their own community against them for the episode. A lot of the chat messages pop up on screen, so you're just seeing things popping up saying like, damn, just because she gave you a 2, what the fuck? Or something like this where it's like, thought you wanted your show to last. Like, come on, man. It's because it's ridiculous. It's very clear temper tantrum over getting a 2. If you were someone that was actually getting pussy, if you were really slamming ham and glazing donuts, you wouldn't care if one girl didn't find you attractive or rejected you. You wouldn't care. You would laugh it off like a normal person. So one girl gives you a 2 and it shatters your whole ego and you publicly melt down about it? That's such a bad and embarrassing look. And he tries to justify it, like I said, by saying, she only gave me that 2 because of our negative interaction from moments ago. Just pure huffing of copium.
we're just going off physical beauty, okay? Not what we've been talking about, not my fucking arguments, not on none of that, okay? I want you to rate me, him, and then him. Go.
Can you stand up for a second?
You didn't see me before the show?
Yeah, but I just forgot.
I mean,
Just stand. It's not that hard. Okay. You're an 8.
God damn it, bro. Go ahead, rate him.
Podcast is now turned into like a hostage situation here. All the women seem on edge, and I actually just can't believe they didn't leave after that. Like, again, I don't understand why women keep signing up for this shit. Like, no one seems to be having any fun there. The hosts especially don't seem to be having any fun. This guy's co-host seems miserable, but he does liven up a little bit when he gets to rate the other women and gives them like 3s, 4s, and 5s and all that. But it's just so awkward and weird. The only explanation that I can come up with, the only rational way of explaining this, is that the reason women are signing up for this show or shows like it is because they're being paid for their time. So it's like an hourly wage just to go there and be insulted or bouncing stupid questions off of. That's the only thing that almost makes sense. Like, so they just come on here to play a game of grade my friend's appearance for 2.5 hours or whatever. I mean, really, someone summed up the situation really nicely in the comments. They said, podcast is called Unfiltered, yet kicks a girl out for her opinion. And that is just such a nice, concise way of breaking it down and the silliness of all of it. Again, I watched a couple episodes just to try and get like an understanding of the content. There's nothing there. Everyone seems miserable most of the time, or they bounce the dumbest questions around, and they always just do a grade our appearance thing, which, who wants to listen or watch that? Like, I as a viewer, let's say that I was a huge fan of this podcast, why would I want to keep seeing what women say about my podcast hosts? Like, why would I care? There's nothing there. There's no entertainment there, especially when one of them's super insecure about all of it, who's going to freak out if he doesn't get a 9. It just doesn't make any sense to me, so yeah, just wanted to talk about it a little bit. That's it. See ya. Here, I'll check this out when I fill up my water and take a piss. I love the quote on that. I'll smack you, tit boy. What does that mean? There's a lot of layers in that onion to peel apart. Let's see what this is. I don't know who Wes Watson is, but I'm very curious to see what he does to Tit Boy.
How did I find success?
How do you define success? What does that mean for you?
Success is, being free, being able to do what I want to do every day when I wake up.
Wrong. Success is how much pussy you get. Duh, idiot. Where's Wes Watson? Set everyone straight here. Is this him?
No vices. That means no drugs, no alcohol, no bullshit. Don't have to hide behind nothing. I mean, what's rich? I mean, you get to do what the fuck you want. I don't.
Is this Wes Watson? Is this the right guy? Let me see. Or is this Tit Boy? Who's who here? Okay, that is Wes Watson. Didn't he just say no drugs? Brother, gear is a drug too, you know that, right? No drugs, except for the ones I do. No vices, except for the ones I do. This guy probably actually did have gynecomastia at some point. So he is literally Tit Boy.
Ash, dude. Pull your fucking shirt
Because
off
I've
and
been-
tell me you're fucking proud
Because
of yourself.
I've been to fucking.
Oh, well, I gotta rewind. I always love that. Pull your shirt off! Show me your body! And let me touch it a little bit. Because you're probably not proud of it.
Are
Let
you
me
proud?
quit.
If you look in the mirror, would you guys say this motherfucker's proud of who the fuck he is? That's a bag of trash, dude. Pull your fucking shirt
Because
off
I've
and
been-
tell me you're fucking proud
Because
of yourself.
I've been to fucking prison.
Jesus Christ,
Because
look
I've been
at
to
you,
prison?
bro. You got 10-inch arms and tits. Men don't have tits. you
No,
guys.
they go to prison where they get fucking.
Fuck yeah,
where
they
get
do.
raped up the ass.
You've never been to prison. Look,
That's
he's talking
what
about shit you
happens.
don't know.
They go to prison.
This is a
where they get
crazy
raped.
argument.
You get your ass
Hold
beat
on,
in
hold
front
on,
of
You think that
everybody.
that's better?
Guys,
You think
guys.
that that's
Okay,
better?
let's let him. Yeah. go.
Titties.
Anyway,
Who do you think would
That's
win?
where I was
In what?
Boobs.
yeah. Okay.
A fight? This guy would probably win. He's got that roid rage psychopath energy. This guy would get snapped in half, no doubt. But if we're talking about like a lactation contest, this guy he's harping on the titties of would not win. It would be this guy. This guy's got so much gear in his body, his tits probably lactate all the time by pure accident. This guy's probably got a pump in his fridge. So it just depends on what kind of fight they're having. If you want to be a true alpha male, not this embarrassing caricature of one, then you have to get yourself the new GamerSupps Waifu Cup of Me that just dropped. That's right, it's finally here. The Moist Waifu Cup has finally arrived. It's available right now at gamersupps.gg. I'll put a link to it in the description. It's guaranteed to be the best possible cup you've ever had in your life. Big thanks to GamerSupps for making this chalice here. I'm honored to be represented as a big-tittied waifu. It's been long overdue, and I think it came out extraordinary.
But anyway, if you want,
Fuck yeah.
if you want to follow the successful mantra of a man who tells you he's reformed from prison, understand why they might have gone there to begin with. And
To take care
yes,
of a
I
family.
do think.
What did he go to prison for? To take care of his family? Isn't that the opposite? You were not there for your family if you were in prison. I went to prison because I was such a good dad. That's why I went. He went undercover. Oh, wow, he spent a decade in prison. Holy shit. I thought it was going to be like a, I don't know, like 6-month stint in prison. No, this guy went to jail for 10 years. What did he do? That must have been heinous. During his 10 years in a and he actually uses this as a selling point for himself. During his 10 years in California prison, West began building an Instagram presence while behind bars. Well, what did he go to jail for? Then he talks about becoming a millionaire within 18 months after being released. Is that it? It was 10 years in prison for robbery, burglary, assault, and battery. Oh, what? Tough Guy's got his Instagram account privated? What's going on with that? He's got 1.2 million followers, though. Why is his Instagram private, though? That's not ripped, rare, and rich. I'm sure all the followers are real people, too, and not bots. I have no doubt. No, it's definitely not a purchased account. If anyone's curious, though, for how he became a millionaire within 18 months of being released from prison, he did it because he exploited you. The desperate, gullible men that are purchasing his shit and saying that it's worthwhile. You think this guy somehow found the ways to make money in jail for 10 years for beating people and robbing them? Yeah, I'm sure he's got a fucking fountain of knowledge to bestow upon you. He just found the easiest way of making money in the modern age, which is telling desperate men that they're losers, and the only way they'll stop being a loser is if they give him money. That's it. That's the shocking secret to how I became a millionaire. Charlie, he invented docking and copyrighted it. True, actually, maybe that is what it is. He brought docking into the mainstream.
True wealth is having a wife, and true wealth, that is what I think it is. And that is what I think truly success is being able to go home and look your family in the face and know that you're doing everything you can to support them. That's
Then
what
when
I
you
think
go to the
success
beach
is.
with your family, they're like, "There's my stud dad right there, standing there."
Do you have
That's literally his whole life. Holy shit, that is so sad. His whole life is his body. Which is going to give out within the next 15 years from his overusage of gear. That's so sad. That is so fucking sad. This guy is 10x the insecurity of this man. Oof. That is actually all he can say. What an absolute fucking weenie. Yeah.
Stud right there with his shirt off.
Do you have children?
Look at that stud.
Do you have children?
I do have children.
How many?
I have 2.
You have 2. So, are you saying that your Bugatti and your money and everything
If
else
they
is
saw me
worth more
standing
than your
there, they'd be
children?
like, my dad's a superhero. Look what he brought to the table. Look how hard this guy works. He came from nothing to this.
Yeah.
He's, God damn it.
You're still whining. Stop whining
That
and
is
just
a
make an
product.
argument.
I'll smack your fat ass.
So you're gonna.
Dude,
All right.
look
Let's
at
just.
your goddamn self.
Okay.
Oh man, this is much worse than I thought it would be for this guy. Yikes. Eek. Eek. I'm sure his children are so proud. My dad's a superstar. Look at him melt down on this fucking podcast about this guy. All because his body isn't as exploited with gear as my dad's. I'm so happy. My pop is the best. Oh, he only spent the first 10 years of my life in jail. What do you mean? He's a great dad.
This is not what men
Let's let
look
him.
like.
Let's let him
What do they
finish
look
his
like?
point.
Fucking shit.
What do they look like? Bald prisoners? Is that what they look like?
This is the
Let's let
problem in
him-
society. If they're like this, think they can talk to someone like me like that.
You started it, goofball. Oh my god, he's getting. This is why this is why he privated his Instagram account now. I see. Oh my, he's getting destroyed.
That's what the show is supposed to be about. I like this shit. So personally,
So do I.
enjoy it.
Yeah, it looks like you enjoy
We can agree
it.
to
Private
disagree.
account.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
We can
We
have a.
can move on, but
we can-
Jesus
yeah.
Christ, men don't have tits.
Thanks,
can
Resub
agree on
Jan.
that. Physically,
Men usually have
he
hair.
has-
We
he
can
has-
agree on that too.
He has
Physically.
crossed over gender barriers.
Right.
That guy actually only has a single thought in his mind at any given time. My body versus that body. My body better. My body use all kind of HGH substances. Thus I win. And he can't process anything else.
Need some other little fucking lame douche over there.
Oh man.
I'll
Come
still
on,
answer
man.
the question. Is giving
Would-
someone an
would you-
expensive watch?
Would any of you guys really hang out with these guys?
This is not an
This
argument.
guy is having. This guy. This guy's fucking awesome. What an effective clown. I've never heard of Wes Watson before. I need to look more into this. Master your mind and body. Meanwhile, this guy just throws a temper tantrum like a child who can only say one thing, like, your body's yucky. I went to jail for 10 years, so what? Would you hang out with these guys? Oh, this is cute. On his website, he had a little bit of hair. Oh, so here we go. He used to be a marijuana dealer. And it looks like he was sentenced to jail for what Chatter mentioned earlier with like the robbery, assault, burglary, whatever, all of that. But he used to be a dealer. So I'm guessing... I still haven't seen exactly what the case was. But I'm guessing it was something about like a deal gone bad, maybe? I don't really know. I thought so. Okay. So the... This is so crazy. I think this is right. So the person he's currently dating is the woman who had that very viral plane meltdown and then got offered a porn deal. So his current girlfriend is this lady, I'm pretty sure. At least according to the articles that I was coming up and reading about this lady.
I did nothing wrong. No, you shut the up. You shut the up and your bitch. You shut the film me. I'm Instagram famous, you bum. Shut the up.
It's crazy. That's a perfect match. That is a perfect match. Two insufferable people dating each other. You couldn't script that any better. Did she take the porn deal too? That would be the cherry on top of the Wes Watson shit cake. This is so interesting. Hold on, one more thing I want to look up that I saw pop up briefly when looking into Wes Watson. Just sorry, and then we'll get back to him screaming about whatever the fuck he's melting down about, shaking his fist at the clouds. Your body isn't as ripped as mine, clouds. You have no right here. Okay. So what I saw come up is that he also has a podcast, but that doesn't seem correct. It looks like he was a guest on a podcast, and it was called "How to Date a Bad Bitch," and it's him talking about dating that plain lady that was melting down. All right, sorry, I stopped looking up shit on the side here for side quests. Let's see what else he has to say.
Jesus Christ.
They're skilled at some things.
Whoever
Hey,
fucking said
hang
that.
on. That bass
Kick
guy
you
right
in
there
your
just
fucking
said, hell
face,
yes,
little
shut up.
faggot.
That's fucking hilarious. You're awesome.
Different guys on the
this
panel.
is why most people don't invite me
guys,
places.
guys. Different guys
Yeah,
on
we
the panel
That's so sad.
Tell.
have different skills.
Yeah, that is so sad. Why would you say that? This is why I don't have any friends. Man, I don't have any friends. Look how quiet he gets after saying that, too.
We could tell his tits are all jiggling. He's
God,
got
that's
a
actually
half
all he's
fucking
got.
Jelly donut
Hey,
or
bro,
what.
your toupee, it's still back there in the back. Go get it.
I shaved my head, you little faggot.
Are you
Shut
sure
the
they...
fuck
Oh,
are you sure you
boy.
shave your head, or-
Uh-oh.
Guys,
Back
guys,
here.
guys.
I want to
guys,
see these guys women. Let's put
guys,
these
guys,
trolls back
guys,
here.
guys,
Women
guys,
are not
guys.
objects
Hey,
in our
hey,
world because
guys,
we're not
guys,
material.
guys.
Hey, Wes, I don't think you want to play that game, brother. Your woman went viral for being an insufferable asshole that everyone clowned on, and she got offered to do porn. Like, brother, you don't want to play that game. You really don't. This guy super sucks. He talks about how he used to be a huge drug-dealing kingpin who lived in big mansions, but the reality is he sold a little bit of weed and slept on his friend's couch. No, that's the propaganda that they're feeding you. He really was... No, dude, this guy, Wes Watson, he really did live in the biggest mansions, fuck the baddest bitches, sell the dopest weed. You got your facts mixed up.
We're gonna
make
move
you
on.
cry if you want, little
We're gonna move
faggot.
on.
That's all
We're
you
gonna
got.
move on.
He's
We're
still
gonna move on.
going. He's so hurt.
We're gonna
No,
move
y'all,
on.
that's all you got is threats.
We're gonna
and
move
free
on,
drink.
guys. We're gonna
I'm
move
a great
on.
speaker.
We're gonna move on, guys. We're gonna move on.
Listen, Rich, gonna be proud.
No, it looks like they calmed him down is the wrong word. It looks like he ran out of words in his head. So then he blue screened in his brain. What an interesting guy. He's like if you tried to have someone do their best to be Dan Bilzerian, but without the actual money. Just taking like core personality traits and rolling them up into one guy who's battling his inner demons of insecurity. He's trying so fucking hard to put on the persona. He's more like a D-list Liver King. Liver King tries to be like wholesome. Like Liver King, he's just a scammer. This guy is both a scammer and an insufferable asshole who projects his insecurities onto every single living being with a pulse, it seems. And then privates his Instagram account when people tell him that he's a loser. That was interesting. That did lead to a new discovery here of the Wes Watson rabbit hole. I looked more into his arrest. He basically got arrested for beating up and robbing a low-level weed dealer at a random motel. Brother, that's not what happened. I don't know what kind of fucking woke news sources you're reading. Wes Watson, he marched out into Gotham by himself and took on Penguin's entire gang, upturned that bitch, and stole all their product, and eventually Commissioner Gordon had him thrown behind bars. That's what happened. And he did it for his family. That was pretty cool. That was pretty fucking awesome. I love podcasts now. I just watched one of the most emotional and most important episodes of a podcast I've ever seen. And we've got to go over this together. I hope you're ready to get in touch with your emotions, because this one, you're going to need a box of tissues nearby for.
What's one thing that you love as a man in the bedroom that you think is kind of falling off today, that you think more men should be into, more guys should be doing?
Oral sex. Eating pussy.
Amen. Our champion has arrived. Shout it louder for those in the back row.
But not just the act of it.
Yeah.
The entire performance. You should literally treat eating fucking labia, pons, clitoris, every piece, even inner thigh, as this like orchestral event.
I agree, man. I don't...
Ah, yes, just like the great artists that came before us, you must treat eating pussy like Mozart treated his symphonies. You're the conductor, And that flesh in front of you is your instruments. So slam her thighs together like they're cymbals and fucking tongue punch that pussy like it's the percussions. An orchestral performance is amazing. So I watched this whole episode, and this guy tries his best to be some kind of emotionally deep and profound intellectual throughout it. So as he's talking about eating pussy, it almost sounds like an ASPCA commercial where he's making it like so heart-wrenching, like it's weighing on him heavily, like taxing his psyche, thinking about all of the pussy gone uneaten. So he's like, I half expected him to be pitching a tent there with the way he was getting into it. Like I felt like he was starting to get hard.
Girls tell me that they'll say, yeah, my ex would go down on me, but be no more than 15 seconds until he would just come up and then start inserting into me. It's like, okay, well, you're not going to get anything done in 15 seconds. I'm sorry. I don't care how good you are. You're not.
Yeah.
Things take time, especially when you're working with such a beautifully intricately designed, like, I love it.
Oh yeah, you can see the butterflies get in his tummy as he gets the joy of talking so passionately about something he clearly loves so much. Vagina. Oh yeah, he's getting like the chills going over it. It feels like he's just pretending. It's so over the top, it just feels forced and fake. It honestly just seems like he's making an audition tape to find a girlfriend in the comment section on TikTok. It reminds me of like when people around you are talking about something that you don't really know about, but you don't want to feel excluded and be looked at like a weirdo, so you just kind of pretend like, oh yeah, Severance, of course I've seen it. I love it. I can't get enough of it. Stop me if I'm just, blabbering on, but I could go on and on for hours about this show. Like, the writing is watertight, and the cinematography is some of the best I've ever seen. Like, and that episode you're talking about, I was stunned. I was actually stunned. Meanwhile, I haven't started Severance yet.
Before the podcast started, I was ready with that question because Garrett was looking in the mirror over there and he was going, you know what I miss? I miss eating pussy. And I was like, save it for the podcast.
I do.
So that's why he got so into it.
Like, I could feel my eyes dilate saying that too, because...
Slow down, Robert Frost. What do you mean you can feel your eyes dilate? He's trying to be poetic and shit, but it just comes across so silly. Brother, you have a problem. Before going on a podcast, he just stops and looks in the mirror to cry about how much he misses eating pussy. I think of all my maidens out there, the miladies that aren't having their box eaten by me, and I can't help but cry thinking about it. But they're not tears of sadness. They're tears of pity. I feel bad for all these women that don't sit on my face.
Peter knows I've been celibate for way too long now. I'm doing good.
Thank God, I was worried you weren't being strong about this. It sounds like you're doing really well. Breaking down in front of a mirror, lamenting that you're not having a buffet of pussy. It sounds like you're hanging on there by a thread.
But I looked in the mirror over there for a second, and I was not doing good. Because I saw my eyes. And right when I saw my eyes, all I saw was just the act of... I see it again.
Yeah.
But the act of eating pussy.
Oh my God, it's so sad. It really is. Like, he's being a real trooper here. He's being so brave about it. Like, this is up there with, Vietnam flashbacks. You can see the PTSD. So he just catches a glimpse of his eyes in the mirror, and then the world stands still. And all he can think about, all he can picture in his head playing over and over like a movie on repeat, is the pussy he once ate, but does no longer. What a cursed existence. Damn this forsaken world!
Moving on. Have you ever been with a girl that has an IUD?
Yes.
I've spoken about this before. And and my little brother was like, can you feel it? And I was like, absolutely, I felt it. All the comments were hating on me. You can't feel it. You can't reach in there. And I was like, you can. You can. So then I did a little more research because I know I felt something. And apparently it's the string that's hanging down you could feel.
Yes.
So I wanted to elaborate that. You can feel an IUD. It's just the string that's kind of hanging down a little bit low.
As he was going through this exhilarating tale, I thought it was going in such a different direction where, So the comments were clowning on me for my IUD take, so I did a little more research, and turns out they were right. I wasn't feeling the IUD. Instead, what I felt, I realized, was Garrett's penis coming in through her butt and our tips touched in the middle. Like, I thought that's where it was going with the way Garrett was reacting to it. That's the man really in touch with pussy eating and, like, his emotional chakras. That's Garrett.
But it hurts. It feels like a hard metal you're hitting. It's not very comfortable.
I find it pleasing in some shape or form, only because it's just
an IUD you find pleasing.
Well, not pleasing, but it's a nice little surprise at the end, you know.
At the end, what the fuck are you talking about?
We're about 30 minutes deep into the podcast here, and now even the host, Peter, is starting to get, like, a little concerned and on edge. Like, Garrett, what the fuck? Like, he just outright calls him out on it. Because this has been his aura the entire show, where it just feels like he is trying to cater every single response to trying to make women go, ah. And he's just saying things that are just weird. So he'll just be, like, flicking the water bottle top. Sat on a banana. Changed my life forever. I find serenity in having G-spot manipulations conducted by unlicensed chiropractors. Did you know that? It's because it allows me to find more peace within myself. Because I found, through walking this path of celibacy, a path not many would dare walk, but me being Garrett, the bravest man on this planet, I walk it while thinking of pussy day and night. And while the rain crashes upon my glowing skin, I think to myself, what's next? Where do we go from here? Where do we come from? What happens after we die? And these thoughts wash over me like a toilet bowl flushing a morning shit. And that's when I realize I miss pussy. I miss it so much because I just love it so much. The intricate design. Oh, it's just divine. Yeah, it is. There I go. Thinking about pussy again. It's just such a beautiful thing. Yeah. IUDs. No, you're right, Peter. You can feel them, and it's just such a special surprise inside the cereal box, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah, I use my spoon, penis, and I go in there and I'm scooping out the IUD. I'm scooping it out. It's just so good. It's just so good. It's so good.
Wait,
for another day.
Do you know what an IUD is? Or are you just saying shit?
I'm just saying shit. Yeah.
Wait, do you not know what an IUD is? There's no way you just went along with this conversation.
No, I know. No, I do know what it is.
What is it?
It's a fucking contraceptive that's up inside.
Okay, so why'd you just say it's a surprise at the end?
The end of the tunnel. Like, everything's going great, and then you just get a surprise. Just for being there.
Okay.
Garrett, you're overheating right now. Tell those neurons to slow down because they are cooking too much. Like, you're not looking like a desirable mate. Like, your wife isn't in the comment section right now leaving her phone number. Right now, you're looking like a fool.
You wouldn't, I think I've asked you this, would you ever not sleep with a girl if she was on her period?
Ever not sleep with her?
Yeah, like, would you not sleep with a girl just because she's on her period? Like, would you be like,
no, I would never react like that.
How would you react?
I'd be excited about the situation, actually.
Pretty normal response. Oh, you're on your period? Yeah! It's go time! I love that he's like almost offended, like, no! I would absolutely not react with disgust. In fact, I would be elated. Like, I am at my most jubilant when she is on her period. I see that, and I can't stop smiling. It's the most special thing in the world, actually.
I've always been excited.
Why would you be excited?
Because I feel that specifically a woman's like perineal blood coming from...
Perineal, dude, what?
From that area.
Is that a word?
Yeah, perineal is just the area right here.
Okay.
For all of us. So, the blood coming from the cervix.
Yeah.
I truthfully believe that it has some divinity to it. I believe that it has healing components to it.
I agree with that.
And not only...
Science also agrees with that. You remember the whole fountain of youth thing? Well, they found it inside some pussy. You see, the blood coming from the cervix, as Garrett is describing here, it is not only has divinity, it legitimately can act as a panacea, curing pretty much anything under the sun. You need only be an alpha in touch with his emotions like Garrett. Like, you need to be excited by the sight of it, and you should be, because it's a magic elixir, that blood. Now, as someone that doesn't have periods, I can only speculate on how great that must be, and how lucky you are to have such a powerful divinity pouring out from your orifices. And it's a drink fit for a king like Garrett.
Is it a belief? It's just something that I love to entertain and be a part of. I feel like there's such a connective thing that you get to share.
I think that's how you create a soul tie.
It could be, and
it most definitely is a soul tie. I never stopped to think about it, but now it seems so obvious. Absolutely, it's a soul tie. Period fucking, it takes two souls and does this. And then they digivolve into one soul that's tied now.
if it doesn't create a soul tie, it sure as hell creates a wonderful experience sexually.
If I can't get my sword a little bloody, I'm on a good night.
Dope. Words well spoken, bro. That was profound. If I can't get my sword a little bloody, not a good night. Honestly, I think that's the most beautiful conclusion to such an emotionally charged episode of this podcast. I fucking loved that. Wow. Garrett, thanks so much for your service to vagina everywhere. You're a real gift. Like, I don't know what he's doing right now. Maybe he's sitting in a dimly lit room, writing haikus, going over how much of a blessing it is to be able to even exist in a world that has pussy in it. And you know what? That thought brings me solace. That's about it. See ya. This is an embarrassing thing to admit out loud, but I've recently found a great guilty pleasure that I've been consuming like junk food. It's those ridiculously cringe podcasts where a few dudes, pseudo-intellectuals, bring on a bunch of women and have the worst debates of all time. It's a forsaken wasteland where normal thinking goes to die. A thunderdome of delusion. It is brain-melting. It reminds me of those old PSAs for the dangers of smoking cigarettes, and they'll like open up someone's chest and be like, this is what your lungs look like when you smoke, and it's like yellow and oozing, covered in this like disgusting slime, and it's very fucking yucky. This is like that, but instead of showing you your lungs on cigarettes, it's your brain when watching this content, and it's fucking revolting. Like, it is actual brain rot, and I can't look away.
And goes into a marriage and has kids when they're like 18, 19, 20, and then a year into the relationship, it gets really, really abusive.
From
Would
who?
you? From both.
This is so rare.
Anyone
It's
so
really.
Rare.
Go
I mean,
on.
it happens.
Go on.
I'm just,
Go on.
My point is, I'm
Hypothetically.
just, yeah. Even though it might be rare from what you guys think,
It is.
I already just find this painful. She's asking a very simple question and setting it up, talking about abuse. And already the dudes here are like, this is ridiculous. This is exceptionally rare. This is damn near science fiction. Abuse? Never even heard of it. That's like winning the lottery twice level of astronomical odds. Abuse is, it is very uncommon, very rare. As a way of trying to like kind of shut it down already, like, you're choosing something very fringe and outlandish. Abuse is, it's like a unicorn. It almost doesn't exist. But anyway, crazy lady, go on with your hypothetical abuse thing, or whatever you called it. It's just trying to downplay it, which I think is just cringe.
if it would happen, what would you recommend for those people to do? Would they divorce, or do you want them to keep going in the relationship?
Keep going. You can't divorce. I mean, that's not a real thing. You can like separate. See, his Catholic background shines through. He knows.
You can't
really. You can separate, but you can't actually divorce. That's not a real thing.
Even though it might be like physically abusive.
You got to endure. People are too.
You want to stick into
People
relationship.
are just.
See, I mean, look,
people
I'm gonna be
nowadays
honest.
are just. Everybody quits. Everybody gives up. It's too hard. I'm this XYZ. This is why I'm special, so I can fuck up this entire situation based upon me being special.
The clown puts himself front and center here. You're looking at the chief entertainment for this episode. Fucking discount Walmart brand Sal from Impractical Jokers here. His name's Jonathan, and let me just tell you, he's got some opinions, and man, oh man, are they a stinker. So, the question is very simple. If there's an abusive relationship, an abusive marriage, should the marriage end? You know, if the woman is being abused, or even if the man is being abused. The woman who asked the question, her name is Melina, and she doesn't just make it exclusive to women getting abused. Men can also be victims of abuse, something that Jonathan heavily disagrees with. We'll get to that later on. But he is saying that, if it's an abusive relationship, you have to endure. This is the problem with snowflake society now. Everyone's such a pussy, so they'll ruin a marriage because they think they're so special. You absolute fucking troglodyte. It's not about being special. It's about not getting beat the fuck up in a marriage. There's no excuse for abusing your spouse, whether it's physical or mental. Like, it's the most... There is a right answer to this question, and the answer is yes, the marriage should end if it's abusive. 100%. Whether it's the woman or the man being abused, it should straight up end. There's no enduring. This isn't one of those situations where it's like, there's greener pastures once you get through a couple of the black eyes and broken bones. My husband may have beat the fuck out of me a couple nights ago, but he also took me to a really fancy steakhouse and I had an absolute bangin' filet. So, all of the abuse was worth it, and I'm a little happier today. It's ridiculous. This is honestly making me concerned. My heart is breaking for whatever woman he's in a relationship with. I'm imagining this guy treating relationships like it's Fight Club. If my partner can't roll with my knuckle sandwiches without crying about it and she wants to leave for it, well then good riddance to her toots. Jesus Christ, special snowflakes can't handle a few of my right hooks. Ridiculous. That's frightening. That is a frightening mentality. That you're telling someone to just endure physical or even mental abuse in a relationship and calling them like a special snowflake or a pussy if they don't. That's crazy. And also his cohort there, the goofball he's in cahoots with, who's like, man, divorce isn't real. Divorce is make-believe. It's hocus pocus. There's no such thing as divorce. Yes, if you're getting abused, you can't divorce, obviously. This is a wild episode.
And the reality is people just haven't learned to endure. There have been hard times in relationship. I'm sure you guys had hard times in relationship. Any relationship has hard times. And it is what it is. You need to push through and you need to endure because we're in this hold on. Because we're in this situation now, like where everybody's just creating this like super nuanced, like 1% example of like, well, what if the kid's transgender, black, and abused, and he's a Black Lives Matter supporter? Like, cool. Okay, I get like that one minute
but I'm asking
situation.
for anyone that might be in that situation, what would you recommend?
Okay,
endure.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what.
Endure.
I'll tell you what I would do.
A lot of diarrhea fell out of his mouth on this one here, so there's a lot to break down. He had an actual episode of psychosis there. He just started spitting shit that never even came up. It's a very simple question. It really wasn't nuanced. She just said, in an abusive relationship, should the marriage end? It really doesn't get more simple than that. A fucking child could understand the question. There wasn't anything about, like, all these nuance that you bring up. But anyway, Smash Mouth has his meltdown there for a second, but his message is still the same. No matter what, you gotta endure. You gotta endure the abuse. He even has the chutzpah to equate abuse to just a hard time in a relationship, as if it's just some little obstacle, little hiccup that every relationship goes through. Brother, abuse is not a hard time in a relationship. That is a fucking crime. That is when a relationship ends, should end.
I wouldn't want my daughter in that situation, quite frankly. And I understand the argument to endure because I have people close to me who grew up in abusive households and it lasted for periods of time and it was a phase and they endured through it and they ended up raising healthy, successful families.
Their faces really tell the whole story here. This reaction's pretty on par with that statement. Abuse is not a phase. It shouldn't be a phase. This isn't a normal thing. There's no reason to start normalizing abusive relationships as something every couple needs to go through or will go through. Abuse isn't acceptable. Full stop. Like, that's where... This was a really easy slam dunk for these dudes to answer. Should a marriage end when it gets abusive, whether for the woman or the man? And the answer is easy. It's yes. A relationship isn't something where there should be an abusive phase. If there is an abusive partner, that partner needs to seek legitimate help and get help for controlling whatever violent urges or impulses they have. But that doesn't mean that the other partner needs to stay in the relationship while they're getting that help. Especially not if there's children in the household, because not only is it dangerous for the partner, it's dangerous for the kid to be around as well. I think it's very simple. I don't think it's that nuanced. Abuse just isn't acceptable. Like, that's a super easy thing for a normal person to answer, but we've cultivated this culture online where everything needs to be like a debate, even on the simplest topics. Like, you just saw Smash Mouth have that meltdown, like, oh, you're getting into all this crazy 0.1% example nuance of abuse and then all of these other factors, like, out of nowhere, when that wasn't even what was discussed. It is the easiest black and white question.
to an extent.
So
I mean, they
you
weren't the
would say
healthiest
that
families.
to stick in those relationships that might be abusive to everyone involved and a child if there's a child.
I'm not
involved?
saying like, hey, stick in the relationship and get the shit beat out of you by your husband.
I'm just asking you what you believe.
I'm just telling you.
Specific thing. Even
I'm
if
not
it's a
telling
small
you.
extreme thing, I'm just asking you what you think if you should stick in that relationship or not.
It is such an extreme example that I can't give a prescription for what other people should do. There is an element.
God damn it, it's not even an extreme example. If you just Google it for like 15 seconds, there's so many different studies conducted on the topic, and according to a lot of the different numbers, all of which are a little different, but most of them agree that at least 20% of all marriages are abusive at some point in time. And that's just in reported cases. Like, it's not an extreme example. It's really not. But even if it was, it doesn't even change the question. Like, even in the extreme example here, it's still a very easy answer that, yes, that marriage should end. There is a problem. Now, this guy here is trying to play nice with everybody, so he's like, oh, yes, even this goober over here talking about endure. I mean, there's almost an element of something salvageable of his point. When there's not, like, there's no excuse. Like, you shouldn't be enduring abuse, like, under any circumstance, but he's really trying to give an olive branch over there for some fucking reason. But this guy is at least admitting, like, he wouldn't want his daughter in that. So he does outright say, like, yes, a woman shouldn't be getting the shit beat out of her in a marriage or relationship and she should leave. He at least will concede that, whereas the other two guys still, for some reason, fight tooth and nail that, nah, there's really no reason to be leaving.
Like that.
Do you have opinions about third trimester abortion?
It's
terrible. Listen, it's
okay,
terrible. Look at how quickly you can debate it. Do you know how rare third trimester abortions are? They're also really rare, but you immediately had a visceral reaction to that,
Yeah.
right? There are households where parents are abusive to children. Like, that's not like an unfathomable thing. But for you to have that immediate visceral reaction to a type of abortion, that's so incredibly rare. But then when it's
I
like,
mean, we're
well, could you
talking
have-
about like a guy like getting drunk and like, you know, beating
have to be
his
getting
wife
drunk.
occasionally versus like
I actually think that was a really good point from Destiny there. Like, you have a very quick reaction to another extreme example. Why do you not have that same energy when it comes to abusive households? And then the guy starts making some shit up like, we're talking about a guy getting drunk and maybe putting his hands on his wife. Where is that coming from? The question was so simple. They're making up like a whole fanfic plotline in their head about what was asked when it was really super simple. Abusive household. Should the marriage end? Like, I actually wonder if she had even just said something even more simple and broad, what the response would have been. If she had asked, do you guys think abuse is bad? I wonder what they would have said. I wager that they would have been like, okay, we need to define what abuse is because all of these special snowflakes have weird definitions for abuse. So let's start really getting into the nitty-gritty of what is abuse. Even though it's so easy, abuse is just bad. And an abusive relationship is bad. I don't know what's so hard about it. I don't know what's so hard about them just admitting that.
But well, okay, so let me ask you guys. In the Catholic Church, I know that there's like annulments for marriages and stuff. Are there
That was a mistake.
Are there no exceptions for like if a guy is beating his wife constantly?
No, there are, but now
Or a woman could as well, right?
Hold on.
Well, there's also a distinction drawn between.
If a woman's beating a dude,
legal
that guy-
Hold on, guys.
Oh man, blubbery ass Jonathan there just got saved big time by the guy in the middle. He wanted so badly to say that if a man's getting beat by his girl, then he's a pussy or he's like a weak bitch or something. He wanted so badly to try and get that kind of bravado out there. Sad to see that this mentality still exists somehow, that men can't be the victims of abuse. I thought we got rid of that stigma years ago. Jonathan's supposed to be a men's self-help guru? How? Actually, how?
Divorces that are initiated by women, Brian?
78.
80%.
78.
80%.
80%. And what percentage of those women have college degrees?
Well, it jumps to 90% if they're college educated.
Real.
Brian, please present the stats to the class. What percentage of divorces are initiated by women? 80%? Thank you, Poindexter, that's sickening. 90% if they're college educated? I rest my case. That's why I only marry 18-year-olds now. They're too young to have a college degree, thus they can't divorce me. What does this have to do with anything? Okay, so you don't want to marry college-educated women? You want to marry dumb women? Like, I don't know. What, you want to just marry a lobotomite sex doll? Cool, like, who cares? It doesn't matter. This has nothing to do with the core question anymore. It's gone fully off the rails and unhinged. They're so focused on picking apart divorce itself. So now they're spouting these stats and making each other mad. So one of the dudes is like, real. And then the other guy is taking a huge deep breath. Why, I oughta. Just hearing that number's making me mad enough to put hands on my spouse because she might have considered a divorce at some point. Like, it's ridiculous. This has nothing to do with what was asked.
They
Can
are
I ask-
extreme.
I wanna
I
ask
agree. I
another-
agree with that.
I want to ask
but-
like one more scenario, okay?
Please.
What about if
I was giggling so fucking hard because you can hear, I'm pretty sure it's Jonathan go, oh, Jesus. When she says she wants to ask another scenario. Why are you even here? The whole point is to communicate with the women, your guests, right? To ask them stupid questions and shit. Like, if you're so bothered with them talking, what the fuck are you even doing there?
two people get married, they have a kid, and then the wife starts cheating? Do you think they should divorce?
Absolutely.
They should divorce then?
Jesus himself
You don't
said.
think it wasn't
Jesus, hold
illegal?
on. Jesus
And you
himself
could like
said.
work things through, right?
Jesus himself said in cases of adultery, divorce is
So you
permissible.
think that divorce is worse than physical abuse?
For the children?
Or cheating, sorry. You think that
Cheating
cheating
is
is worse than physical abuse?
For the
Sorry.
children, yes.
I actually let out a full belly laugh. So she brings up cheating and unanimously like, yes, obviously you have to divorce when the woman's being a whore. If you've got a slut for a wife, you gotta fucking divorce that harlot, that harpy. Duh. Are you stupid, lady? Absolutely you have to divorce there. After they spent like 6 minutes about, well, actually divorce is one of the most evil things that can ever happen. Divorce is unacceptable. Physical abuse, okay, abuse, you have to endure because you can't divorce. But then when it's cheating, it's like, yeah, you gotta divorce. Jonathan even says crucifixion is warranted. I'm sure he's just being exaggeratory, but he does point blank say that cheating is worse than abuse for the kids, which is a wild take. Both are awful. Your father beating your mother or your mother beating your father in front of your kid is just as damaging as one of them being unfaithful. These are both horrible things, both of which should end in divorce. But for some reason, they seem to only have a real visceral response when it comes to cheating. And then the guy in the middle even gets immediately religious, like, well, in the Bible it says, you know, when cheating's on the table, that's when divorce is absolutely necessary. Well, what the fuck? The Bible also doesn't preach for beating the fuck out of your spouse either. I'm sure you can also divorce in a case like that, so why didn't we get biblical when abuse was brought up? Why did we start trying to justify different levels of abuse and it might be a phase where it's going to get better after and this and that? Dude even wove a whole fanfic about like, we're talking about a man who gets drunk and maybe occasionally hits his wife. Like, what the fuck? Like, why are you making excuses for abuse and not for cheating all of a sudden, right? Like, and Melina even calls that out. She's like, oh, well, what about, like, working through it or, you know, maybe the cheating's a phase. And like, no, absolutely not. Cheating is the end-all, be-all. This is crazy. Like, I was absolutely howling with laughter when we got to this segment in the podcast.
I think I'm not going to say this is worse.
Divorce
I mean,
is worse for the children.
I already
Cheating
said,
worse than
that
physical
if a
Cheating,
woman's
yeah.
getting abused, yeah, I think she should leave. Like, I mean, if it's a brief temporary thing, like,
What if it's mental abuse?
Okay, now
Do you think
less
if
cut and
it's-
dry.
if it's
You
cheating
are
and
setting
mental
your
abuse?
child up.
I think there's a small chance that Jonathan may have misunderstood the question. He may have thought he heard, is divorce worse than abuse? And that's what he was saying, that divorce is worse than abuse for the kids. Which is still a fucking stupid take, so I'm going to tackle that one as well. What the fuck, man? You think that somehow kids witnessing their parents beating the shit out of each other is somehow less damaging than if they had just gotten divorced? You've got some issues you need to work through. My goodness. And then also that lady that's behind them is saying that it's less cut and dry when it comes to mental abuse. Why? Abuse is abuse. What are you talking about? So far up until this point in the episode, she hasn't said too much. She mainly just kind of agrees with everything the guys say. But she says it's less cut and dry when it comes to mental abuse, which leads me to believe that she thinks it should be cut and dry when it comes to divorce for physical abuse. But she didn't say anything. She didn't chime up and say like, hey, I agree, the marriage should end then. She just stayed silent because I guess she was just looking for things to fight them on as opposed to agree with, which I think is always such a weird component of these debates where if you agree with your opponent, you're apparently losing, or you lose points by doing so, which is so fucking backwards. And that's why I think debates in general are kind of worthless, because it's never about changing someone's mind. It's always about just cementing your own beliefs and never faltering and never changing perspective on anything. So nothing good ever really comes from it, except for just general entertainment as a spectator. And this one had me giggling. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit. That's it. See ya. You gotta watch the Neil deGrasse Tyson response to Terrence Howard.
So this is Terrence Howard attempting to reinvent mathematics and physics. A little backstory.
Successfully,
I
too, by
took
the way.
initial interest in Terrence.
Let's see what the comments are saying now. Because when this initially came out, all the comments were like, man, Terrence Howard is a fucking genius. Man, Terrence Howard really gets it. I didn't realize he was so intelligent. Meanwhile, he's actually just talking about gobbledygook. 1 times 1 equals 2. I've reinvented sacred geometry with a hydrogen proton. Selling drones to Uganda based on the hydrogen proton geometry, which the drones don't exist. Okay. Now the comments have flipped. They turned on him. I still remember the day, well actually the 3 or 4 days after this episode came out, people were like, man, Terrence Howard is so fucking smart. Look at what he said and look at what he did. And all the comments were on his side and shit about like, damn, so deep. I knew we couldn't trust math. But Charlie, he invented virtual reality. Check out his patent. Oh, I know. Not only did he invent virtual reality, he invented the very fucking dimension in which we inhabit while he was still in his mother's womb. Did you know he has memories from the womb? I know. He's just built so different. Would you debate Terrence Howard on his math? Sure. I feel like anyone would be more than willing to. But I also feel like if someone's going to debate Terrence Howard, it shouldn't be me. Because that would immediately bring Terrence Howard, that was supposed to be the guy reinventing math, down to the level of just a fucking goober streamer content creator. That's who I'll debate, that guy. I'll display my math prowess against that guy. No, not actual mathematicians, please, God, no. But I'd be more than willing to. It is completely indefensible with 1 times 1 equals 2. The only way he gets away with that is by spamming buzzwords that actual Neanderthals think mean something. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter what, you can never show that 1 times 1 equals 2. But you can always show that 1 times 1 equals 1. It's the easiest demonstration ever. And the only way Terrence Howard weasels his way out of it every time is just with nonsense quantum buzzwords. If you debated him, you should just out-buzzword him. Oh, I'd be dropping so many buzzwords on him just to, like, throw him in, like, some kind of fucking stun lock. Mr. Howard, please stop bloviating. It's like you haven't even considered the Bose-Einstein paradox. As, of course, you know this is elementary. And he'd be like, Bose-Einstein? Higgs boson? Action Bronson believes in Terrence Howard. Oh my god. Wait, is it a joke?
What in the actual fuck?
First of all,
I understand it though.
I kind of
understand it. I understand.
I mean, it made sense.
To me, he's making me believe.
He's way too smart to just be making everything up. Like, there's no way he just make
this fucking genius. You can't just make up 1 times 1 equals 2. That's... That... You can't do it. That's... inconceivable.
He's a lunatic. Like I've
You
heard
can't
people
just
say,
lie. You can't
he's
just come up on
lunatic,
that. You
He's
can't
making
just...
things. I'm like, I don't think that's correct. He knows too much. So is
I like how Joe Rogan immediately believes that Terrence Howard remembers being in his mother's womb and waving at his hand. He named his hand in his mom's womb before he had any concept of words or anything. In pitch darkness, he named his fucking hand and called it his friend in his mom's womb. He knows so much.
Terrence Howard has to sit down with someone who's an academic, someone who's got a PhD,
Like Joe
whatever
Rogan or
discipline
Action
they're talking
Bronson.
about. And they can have a discussion, and you can see what he really knows and just what he can say to me, right? To me, it all makes sense, but I'm a moron.
No, you're
True,
not.
super true. Super true.
A physicist, someone who actually can understand what these computations mean and what he's trying to say about 1 plus
Oh, you're
1
asking hard
or 1
questions,
multiplied
OMG.
by 1
That's
can't be
multiplication
one.
now.
Like, no
It's scary.
mathematics.
Yeah.
Everything is bullshit. I believe that.
Brother, what you're talking into is the result of mathematics, Action Bronson. It's all bullshit. Math's not real.
I wasn't good in algebra.
No shit.
I see it more in a linear way, not a linear way, a different way than him, like more similarly to him.
Right. Well, I would imagine
Wrong,
that
then.
there's probably more to all these things.
Those fucking
Even our
toys he made, the
mathematics.
figures.
even our mathematics, like, as brilliant as the people are.
I've never actually listened to Action Bronson speak or anything. Is this guy just actually a fucking imbecile, or is this a joke? Is he playing a character? I'm getting half chat saying he's trolling, and the other half are saying no, he's actually just really fucking dumb. I just don't know enough about Action Bronson as a person.
Yeah, he's a great actor, but it's just because he's so smart. And then he's talking about how the periodic table's all fucked up, and this is what's you're like, wait a minute, what are you doing? How can you do this?
I understand.
How can you do this? Joe Rogan, I'll do it right now. Periodic table's wrong. I did it. That's how he does it. That's the secret. That's how. This is unbelievable. I don't know enough about Action Bronson to know whether or not he's being genuine here or if he's just playing like the buffoon. But Joe Rogan is so hook, line, and sinker on like the actual fucking stupid pill here. It's crazy. Or Terrence could be the greatest con man. To a certain extent, he's trying his best to scam Uganda with his hydrogen proton new geometry drones that'll protect Uganda and improve their agriculture, which don't exist and never will exist. The fucking hydrogen proton geometry drones. So he's scamming in that regard. But other than that, he's just being a fucking moron on the biggest stage ever. And that's about it.
I feel what he's saying.
He's a membership person.
Like, stop trying to uncover shit. Just all these little micro fucking bullshits.
What do you mean?
Like I said, I'm a fucking idiot. I'm trying to regurgitate what I heard. Like, as far as all the elements in between.
Yeah.
Like, why are they there? When they're just.
You and I
know what
will
I'm talking?
never explain this in a way that's not hugely frustrating to anybody who really knows it.
Remember.
It's not even frustrating. It's just kind of sad. It's just like actually kind of sad. Like, it's hard to even be frustrated. It's just sad. Like, it's just legitimately sad. Listening to this guy fucking fumble through like he had peanut butter in his mouth about the elements in between and the micros, and then openly admit like he's just trying to regurgitate something that he heard. It's just sad. It's not even frustrating. I don't know, man. I guess one thing I don't understand. So both of them are very open about being stupid. So Action Bronson's like, I'm an idiot, so I'm just trying to repeat what I heard once. Why wouldn't you just repeat the thing that you've heard that actually has results? So the math that you've heard, 1 × 1 = 1. Why wouldn't that be what you repeat? When you are literally the product of that math. You would have died way before you hit this age if math was never to this level. You would have died of some kind of infection. You would have died trying to like finger your butt in the wrong part of the jungle and got eaten alive. You wouldn't have made it without math. So why wouldn't you be regurgitating that math that is keeping you alive and allowing you to have a career? I don't get it. I don't know why they would gravitate towards actually this math that has nothing to show for it, not a single invention, not a single basis in reality, not a single physical thing to show for it. That's the one I'm going to repeat. I just don't get it. I don't know how you gravitate to that. The least obvious psyop. Do you think? I don't know. I don't know if it's a psyop or not. It's like I know that word gets tossed around like so many other buzzwords, but there is a chance. Like, I do think in this case there is a chance to keep people stupid, because it is legitimately just easier to control stupid people, 100%. So if you just have people like Action Bronson, Joe Rogan, Terrence Howard being like 1 × 1 = 2, don't trust math, and here's the hydrogen proton geometry, also zero's not real. Like, if you have people start believing in that, they become so much easier to control. So it could be a psyop. But I also think it's just equally likely that these dumb fucking people just really love the idea of feeling special and smart, so they just latch onto it.
I can't even remember what I'm trying to say, but you know.
Yeah. The way he was explaining how everything's connected.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the entire, the whole scale of it. And the way he was showing it like a geometric pattern. And when you look at it like the way he was describing it, you're like, oh, wow, that kind of makes more sense. It does make sense. That's it. I mean, it just looks beautiful. Oh, that's dope art. I need to know if this.
Okay, here. Then I know what we need to do. I figured it out. I see. How about we start making math and science super fucking hype? So instead of this lame ass picture here, put it on a pair of titties. I guarantee Joe Rogan and Action Bronson's fucking eyes would pop out of their skull like a Tom and Jerry cartoon going awooga if they saw real math and science, but it was on like boobies. Maybe that's all we need. The math gave me a boner, so it must be true. I think we're onto something. I actually think we're onto something. I think that could be the key. That's what we've been missing this whole time.
It's like a very specific thing they did to them.
Yeah, but
and it revealed the yin yang.
That's what it looks
it's
like.
quantum intent.
Action Bronson, what does the yin yang mean to you? What do you think that it revealed the yin yang? What do you think those words mean? What happens when you get 3 of the most uninteresting, out of their prime frat dudes in a room? They make a podcast, and like all other alpha podcasts, they focus on shitting on women. But this time, the unique selling point of this alpha podcast is all 3 of them rolled a 0 in the charisma stat. Between the 3 of them, they can very rarely form a complete sentence. It's like a game of fucking Mad Libs because they can't help but keep interrupting each other, and the one time they brought on a female guest, I think she maybe got 3 words out before they kept, like, dogpiling on every single breath she took. It is an outstanding disaster of insecurity. It's also adorable how hard they all try to appear as, like, this peak sigma alpha masculine specimen. This is a podcast I'm sure none of you have heard of. I only found it because a YouTuber named Chad recently made a great video on it, and I knew I had to dive into it and watch more of their content. On TikTok, they're a bit of a laughingstock. They're just a fucking punching bag for most people to insult for good reason, obviously. So I wanted to watch more than just like their best moments montages where it's like, women cheat more than men, those bitches. Like I wanted to watch like the actual full context and full episodes. They have 3 right now. But it was so hard to watch them because every time they try and speak, it's like a kid who gets called on in middle school to stand up and read in front of the class and they're nervous. They just drone on and on, getting lost in their own sauce, forgetting what they were even talking about. They just keep fumbling over words and they just keep placing new filler words in there and it makes no fucking sense. It's like, I have no mouth and I must scream some dumb shit, but they just can't do it. Let me show you.
Yeah, plus like too, when you're in that bracket of fucking really financial, I'm not, but one day I will be, when I'm in that bracket of like being fucking rich as fuck.
Right.
I feel like, especially like, I don't know, like a lot of dudes get played for their fucking money. And,
yeah, a lot.
And they look like fucking fools. Because after a while too, money can only get you so far with getting pussy and shit.
Well, it depends.
At the end, and it's true, and like they'll be like, "Oh, fuck them, I'm tired of them." The fucking housewife.
That bitch was plotting.
He was plotting from the jump.
It's funny because I was
that's
like,
her personal need.
Yeah, right.
Which I don't understand.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah,
like,
fuck that.
why are you gonna use my money that I fucking made to do something?
Yeah.
If you want money, you ask for it, and I'll gladly give it to you.
Yeah,
Because I don't want
if
you sneaking money out
we're
the door.
financially fucking way better off than most.
Yeah,
But yeah, just don't like fucking. Yeah, I fucking agree.
But like,
This was from the timeless classic Women Cheat More Than Men, their biggest episode and a real hit. I couldn't watch the whole thing because this is the whole thing. Stretch this kind of conversation across an hour and 15 minutes. It's impossible to sit through. It literally sounds like someone skipping through dialogue options in like a Fallout game. It sounds like you're just listening to William Shakespeare in Old English and none of it's making sense.
I want to know what your boyfriend brings to the table, or what you expect him to bring to the or even any man. Not like we don't have to like focus on your guy. But just any what does a guy have to do?
Respectful.
Okay.
So looks don't play a role in the first part.
Gotta go. Just let her go.
Yeah, let her go.
Relax, buddy.
Let her go.
This was a really big moment for the podcast. They really went out of their comfort zone and brought a girl into the boys' club in order to get deeper insight into females. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to really speak that much because the crew didn't really like when she'd talk. So like right away they just ask, what do you want in a guy? And she says respectful. The fucking room goes silent and one dude's like, so looks don't matter then, huh? Like he just gets so deeply offended off rip. All 3 of their minds were blown. She said respectful, and one guy just, his whole soul is crushed like, what about looks, huh? What about looks? Are you lying to me, you crazy fucking harpy, huh? You come onto my podcast, you old battle axe, and you're spreading fibs? No, respectful doesn't exist. Not even a real word, not a thing. Looks, that's all that matters. That's what I've read on the forums. Don't fucking lie to me again on my own show.
I say, if my wife lets herself go after I have kids with her, if I'm gonna tell her once, If you don't get your shit together, I still want to be sexually attracted to my wife, my spouse. But if you
Even
can't
girlfriends.
do that, girlfriend too. If you can't do that, I'm out.
All three of them are pretty dumb, but this guy right here is like the superstar imbecile. Every time he says something, it's the dumbest shit. He was the guy that immediately got offended when the girl mentioned the word respectful. It was like a fucking vampire getting hit with sunlight when he heard that. He just started like melting and like in pain. All he cares about is looks and pussy, from what I gather. That's his whole personality. And anything that challenges his belief that looks are the only thing that matter in the world, he takes great offense to. So this video they disabled comments on because they were getting clowned on ruthlessly. And, you know, very un-alpha-like to be a coward and disable your comments. They're keeping the video up, and apparently they had a response to it, which they took down because they also kept getting clowned on with that. Can't confirm because I can't find it. Yeah, his whole point is super goofy. So my wife has kids with me, and then she stops getting hotter, and I don't find her hot anymore, and that's her fault. I give her one chance. If she doesn't fix herself, I'm out. Aging is cringe. So when my wife hits 40, I'm leaving her ass, and I'm going back to dating 18 and 19-year-olds.
I mentally checked out of my last relationship for so long.
But I don't want to
Before
say
you broke up?
Yeah.
But another point. Goes the fucking show. Another point.
No, but
another
it doesn't
point.
say anything.
Hold
No,
up,
it's
hold
not
up.
like anything bad. But
No,
it's
no,
like
not
after
you.
everything
Hold up,
I've
I'm gonna
been
let you
through.
finish your point. And I'll let you finish your point. Guys at home watching, if you're fucking, once you'll know when your girl's mentally checked out, and when she's mentally checked out, she'll entertain any dude. I'm not saying you. There's always exceptions to the rule. I'm saying they'll entertain dudes. They'll fucking even cheat on. They don't give a fuck because once when their mind's gone, the vagina still could be there. But once when the mind's gone, the heart's gone, they are done. There's no coming back from that. So like, you know.
Oh my god. He's absolutely right! Oh! He just blew the case wide open. I fucking love that this dude immediately interrupts her for the millionth time just to make like an absolute nonsense point. The vagina might still be there, but the heart's gone. The soul went to hell, and now she's cheating on you there. Right? And the Avengers music, oh, it just sounds so good. It's like he's making the most profound speech of all time. Like, hey, shut the fuck up real quick, lady. I know I asked you this question, but now I'm talking. Cue the orchestra. Hey, cheating and pussy. What's up with that? I genuinely just can't wrap my head around this whole crew here. I don't even know what he's thinking is going on right now. He thinks he's being so deep and profound and like this is somehow supposed to be inspirational, but it's not. It's not even close to anything at all.
No, I got this right here. I got this right here. Women preserve their value. Men create it. Let me explain.
Exactly.
Guys care about a girl's past. A girl cares about a guy's future. Just like if your
No,
boyfriend.
I care about your past.
Hold up.
I have no doubt the three of them are pretty close to illiterate, but what that guy's saying right there is verbatim what all of the other YouTubers who are alpha males try and parrot. They all vomit that exact same line into each other's mouths, and just like Ouroboros, just keep eating each other's asses for all eternity. That whole men create value, women preserve it. Guys care about a girl's past, girls only care about a guy's future. They treat each other like anime protagonists. It's literally r/I'm 14 and this is deep. This is literally sad Facebook statuses from 2010. It's very clear that this guy in particular was very deep into the whole pickup artist community or whatever, because this shit is the exact verbatim shit that they all said in their seminars. I've watched a lot of those on YouTube nights on stream because they're really fun to laugh at. And to a certain extent, I do feel bad for this guy because he got fed this so much that now he's adopted it as a truth, and the cycle just continues.
Hot topic.
Very hot.
Girls cheat more than guys.
Oh, fuck yeah. Girls cheat more than motherfucking
I was
dudes.
waiting to say
Period.
that, bro. I was
Period.
waiting to say that.
They're sneaky.
100%. It's my personal mentality. Because I'm better than everybody.
Yeah.
I'm not an NFL player. I haven't been to the moon. I'm still better than you.
You gotta. That's how you gotta become. You gotta think you're the best before you are the best.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Everybody.
That's my personal mentality.
Yeah, he's not an NFL player. He's not a doctor. Hasn't been to the moon. Hasn't had a meaningful relationship. Hasn't been able to read an entire chapter from a Harry Potter book. But you know what? He has a podcast, so he is better than you, pussy. I feel like if I was an employee at the Best Buy they bought the Blue Yetis at, I would be overcome with guilt if I ever found this podcast and recognized them. I'd be like, fuck, I could have stopped this from happening. I could have been the hero if I just didn't sell them the blue Yetis. It could have all been stopped before it even started.
Honestly, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but what's your take on fitness chicks? Valid. Like, as fuck.
They're
superior to all women.
Top of the line.
Agreed. Fitness
Top of
chicks
the line.
are superior to any woman.
They posted this themselves as one of their highlights. Like, this is one of their finest moments they were proud of. Just fucking imagine that mentality, that this conversation is like a moment you're like, yep, pretty proud of that one. I mean, to be fair, in their defense, they didn't fumble through sentences because there were no sentences here. It was just like individual words back and forth. Man calls it together like it's a goddamn city council meeting. Boys, gather around. Titties. What do we think? Do we like that? Valid. Milky. Top of the cream of the crop. Yes. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that if I actually did finish all 3 podcasts to completion, there would be a million more wild and wacky moments, but it's just so hard to sit through their podcasts, so I haven't done that yet. So these were just some of the highlights that I found. These are the ones that were posted on their own TikTok, and as well as just a couple of moments that I skimmed through their podcast. And yeah, I just wanted to share this because this is just another very silly alpha male podcast. That's about it. So yeah.